Welcome to Around and Around, the OCD Circle. My name is Elizabeth, and I have been living with obsessive-compulsive disorder for over 60 years. I am not a therapist or a member of the medical community. I am just an ordinary person like yourself who will be sharing my thoughts and experiences with you, with the hope that you will feel less alone. If you don't have OCD, I hope you will learn some information that will help you understand this disorder better. Some of the topics I will be covering may be triggering for you as a listener. If so, I apologize in advance. Since I don't know what your triggers are, please refer to the episode summary in the show notes before listening to each episode. If at any time you feel like hurting yourself or ending your life, please call the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988 if you are in the United States. It is open 24 hours a day, and you will be connected with the nearest crisis center to receive immediate counseling and local mental health referrals. Now, on to today's episode. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast, Around and Around the OCD Circle. If you haven't joined me before, I'm so glad that you stopped by. My name is Elizabeth, and every week I talk about my obsessive-compulsive disorder, some of my experiences that I've had, some of the ways that I've managed this disorder, and again, thank you so much for joining me. If you have commented and asked me questions or talked to me about the quality of my audio, the reason I have not responded to you or done anything to improve it is because I am recording lots of episodes ahead of time before I actually launch the podcast. So at the time of this recording, I haven't received those comments yet, but in the future, if my audio doesn't sound very well, please let me know so I can do something about it. Thank you so much. Also, my social media links will be in the show notes. I really would love to hear from you. If you are more familiar with YouTube, you're more comfortable with it, I'm also putting this podcast on YouTube. So again, thanks a lot. Let's go ahead and get started today. We're going to be talking about OCD and closure. I was wondering if you know what causes the beginning of your intrusive thoughts or rituals. I'm going to be talking about closure and how important it is for me to have it. For me, failure to close an event can result in an obsession of a person for a very, very long time. Over the past few weeks, I have done everything in my power to close the event that I'm getting ready to tell you about. Earlier this year, I lost the friendship of two of my closest friends. One had messaged me after a meeting that I had held on my website, telling me that one of the members was not an asset to my website. The other friend actually messaged the member, accused her of taking over the meeting in the beginning of the meeting, and told her that I didn't like it. In reality, the member did absolutely nothing wrong, and what she was talking about hadn't bothered me at all. I felt like I was in high school again. These were two grown women butting into my business, speaking for me, when I could speak for myself. It was my website, it was my meeting. I was the one in charge, and I was happy with the way things had gone. Well, I probably wouldn't have gotten involved in this, but my name had been brought up, and someone was speaking for me, and I didn't like that. And so when I confronted these two friends and asked them to be kind to my website members, I was dropped as a friend and blocked from their social media accounts. Drama goes on a lot in our work community, and I have been thinking about taking my website down for the past year, mostly because it took a lot of work and time. And I simply don't have time or mental energy to police meanness between members. I had created the site as a safe, fun place to work and socialize. After this interaction with these two women, the intrusive thoughts started over one friend who I considered as a sister and mentor. She was the friend who confronted the member and said she was wrong and that I didn't like it. I saw her face for several days afterwards, and I was worried that if I didn't bring a hard closure to the event soon, I would find myself in another spell of obsession. I realized that I had put her so high up on a pedestal that I couldn't see what was really there, the kind of person she truly is. And this realization had disappointed me the most. So, how did I close this event? Well, you would think that them blocking me would have closed it, but I had to be absolutely sure. In fact, I think by closing events, I feel like I have to close the event, not the other way around. So I made all of my previous meeting videos private. I was relieved in a way. No social media in my life would now give me more time to work and take care of myself. But then I had a different problem. People who failed to see my announcement realized I had taken the videos down, and they wanted to know why. I chose to be the better person and just say it was time. They knew I'd already been thinking about it for almost a year. Many were shocked and tried to press the issue, but I stood strong and decided they aren't going to hear it from me. I'm happy to announce that Around and Around the OCD Circle podcast now has a Facebook page. A private, safe space where we can share our OCD experiences with others. Topics such as obsessions, intrusive thoughts, and rituals will be discussed by members who can relate to one another because we all have one thing in common: obsessive-compulsive disorder. You are not alone. Join us, won't you, on the Around and Around the OCD Circle Facebook page. The link is in the show notes. Hope to see you there. My therapist watched the meeting video and said that my intrusive thoughts would probably go away in time, and that it won't turn into a lengthy obsession. That I didn't expect such behavior from someone I looked up to, and that's why these thoughts are supposedly lingering. But because I had that uh-oh feeling in my body that says, here we go again, I had to act quickly. I have to admit, talking about this now is simply another way to bring closure. I have some friends lined up to work with me one-on-one, and I will continue not to mention what happened. However, if they ever hear anything negative about how I handled the situation, I have screenshots as proof. If you don't know how your obsessions start, I suggest writing them all down and see what they have in common. I don't remember how most of my obsessions started because so many years have passed, but the events I do remember all have that one theme: an event in time that had no closure. In the future, I will deconstruct some of these obsessions and pinpoint for you exactly how and why I think they started. Some of your obsessions may have started with a trauma of some sort. I believe that previous trauma in my life may have contributed to my feelings of abandonment. When I feel left out of a conversation or a friendship, or feel like I have no control over my feelings or how an event will play out, if I feel like I'm not being heard or validated, an OCD spell inevitably will start if I don't close that event in some way. So I try to close events daily, and it is mentally exhausting. For instance, if you were a close friend of mine and you told me you were going to call at 3 p.m., if you didn't call, I might wait 15 minutes, but in order to find closure, I would message you and say, "Hey, are you still going to call?" I used to say, "I thought you were going to call at 3 p.m. I don't do that anymore because I feel like it made me appear needy. If you say, "Hey, I got tied up and can't call today," that's all I need in order to have closure, and I go on about my day. If you are my boss and didn't offer the normal morning, "Hello, how's it going?" I would assume that you were upset with me in some way. So to close that event, I might initiate a hello as soon as I could, ask how it's going, and go on with my day. What I'm looking for in closures is certainty. Certainty that I have answers to why questions. Why aren't you calling? Why aren't you telling me hello? Why can't I find you at a party when you said you would be there? This is definitely low self-esteem related, most likely trauma related, but what makes it OCD is that it happens over and over again, leading to obsessions that take over my life. And I hate it. I know you hate your OCD too. What do we usually do with things we hate? We get angry, we avoid them, complain about them, or pretend they don't bother us. But the difference with obsessive compulsive disorder is that no matter how mad you get, no matter how much you bitch or pretend it's not there, it is. It doesn't go away. We are stuck with it. Well, what do we do with something we are stuck with? For example, if you found yourself living in a 300 square foot apartment for the rest of your life, let's say you knew you had to stay there until the day you died, what would you do? You would have two choices. Make the best of it, make some changes, ask for help, move things around, make space by sorting and getting rid of things that you no longer need. Or your second choice would be to do absolutely nothing and go out of your mind. I believe I was slowly going out of my mind over 30 years ago. Once I found the therapist I knew could do the most good for me, got on the right medications, and learned how to manage my OCD, I got my life back. I hope you get your life back soon, if you haven't gotten it back already. I am so thankful that I now know how my OCD spells begin. No closure to an event. Do you know what causes your intrusive thoughts or rituals to begin? If not, I hope you find out. It will prevent much pain and suffering in the future. I am glad you are here. Please return to more episodes of my podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to my social media links, which are written in the show notes. Until next time, I wish you a very peaceful day.